Howdy, folks. I'm a can of noodles canoodling in a canoe with oodles of candle-shaped noodles.
I'm Amber.
And here's some more noodle candles.
Except no. It's just Reddit. He's lying to you.
All right, folks. Our first letter is titled, Am I the jerk for not paying my mom rent for 2 weeks that I stayed at her house? I'm a 23-year-old female, and I do not get along with my mom or stepdad, so I would never willingly stay at their house except for emergencies. My great-grandmother was on her last legs, so my mom wanted to fly over and see her one last time. While I don't like my mom, I'm also not a monster like her. They wanted me to watch my little brother, an 8-year-old male, who I was happy to watch since my other brother, a 17-year-old male, works all day and some nights, and my sister, a 19-year-old female, is a little bit irresponsible, just like my mom. I agreed under the condition that my sister wouldn't be allowed to stay there while I was. Now that they are back, they are asking for the rent for the last 2 weeks, $900. I stayed since I took up the whole house, making my sister leave for the 2 weeks, and they weren't there either, so they shouldn't have had to pay the rent for the time that they weren't there. I told them, sure, I'll take it off the babysitting bill, and that they owe me $5,820, if my math is correct, that the payment for $20 an hour minus the $900. If they want to play this game, am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. You were doing them a favor, and they're over here like, give us money. What's their problem? Like, I think you had the perfect response.
Yeah, I think turnabout is fair play here, if I ever saw a circumstance. So there are some additional details here. I'm not going to read the comments, but basically OP's mother is racist against OP, and OP is apparently half Aboriginal Australian, and so that's part of the reason why they mistreat her like this. The family household is also kind of abusive, I guess, and it's just not a good situation. Oh, and they have a whole menagerie, like 12 birds and like dogs and all kinds of other things that OP had to care for the entire time that she was there. And then also, like, I want to point this out, like, I know that they want her to pay the whole $900 in rent, but also the brothers were living there at the time.
Right, so 2 of their children were still there, but us adults weren't there, so we shouldn't have to pay. You are taking care of our children now. You're the mom.
Yeah, it sounds like they just wanted to milk OP of money here because they just don't like her. And so OP is planning on taking the brothers out of that situation as soon as they can, but it's just it's a sad situation. Anyhow, OP, take care and good luck. Alright folks, our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for wanting to go on holiday without my wife? For context to the story, before my wife and I met, I would go on holiday with my family every year. As I got older, I traveled to several different countries alone, taking a holiday every year. She didn't go on many family holidays as a child, and as a result, says that she sees holidays as a luxury rather than a necessity. My wife and I are expecting our first child. We're both very happy about this, but at the same time, it's a massive change to our lives. We are both working. She works in an office and I work as an engineer. I've been finding my job quite stressful of late and have a few things happen in my personal life that have been upsetting. I told my wife that I was considering taking some time off of work and going on a holiday somewhere. As my wife is 29 weeks pregnant, she would be unable to fly. So I said that I would go alone. She offered an alternative of staying in our country for the break away together, but the country we live in is notoriously expensive for holiday. I would rather spend the same amount of money on a sunny holiday. She asked if I thought this was fair, and I responded that I needed the holiday more than she did. She got very upset, I wonder why, about this and told me that I was being selfish. I don't think that I'm being selfish, and she doesn't view holidays as essential, and this will likely be my last opportunity to go somewhere sunny for a few years with the baby on the way. Am I the jerk for needing a holiday? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
A huge jerk here. I'm going to abandon my 29-week pregnant wife so I can go on a holiday because I deserve it more than her.
Yeah, I mean, she's pretty much going to give birth any minute here, it sounds
Yeah.
like. And she's not going to be able to enjoy the time while you're away.
Right. And I mean, as people get more and more pregnant, a lot of times they'll have mobility issues and things like that. So, like, can she do everything independently, easily? Like, it probably helps a lot to have a second set of hands.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's very selfish. It is.
It is.
I know that this is what she said, but I think that this is an extremely selfish situation. She offered it a compromise that you two both could have enjoyed. But you're like, oh no, I'd rather spend the money in a different place.
Like, he's shown how little he values her. Like, it's more important that he gets to go to his sunny climate and, you know, save some money than it is to have a trip they can both enjoy.
Yeah, and he acts like he's the only person who's stressed out here.
Like, imagine growing a separate human inside of you. Like, I'm sure.
Pretty stressful.
Yeah. And also physically taxing and painful. But, you know, she doesn't need a vacation because she grew up poor, so...
Yeah, that's really what this kind of sounds like. I grew up rich, so I need my vacations.
Yeah, it's like, that doesn't make you more deserving or more entitled to them. It just means you're privileged.
Yeah. So, OP, I do think you're being selfish, and I think you are going to need to put your wife's needs ahead of yours in this situation. So, anyhow, take care and good luck. And Wolfren says, first of all, congrats on the baby. I imagine your wife and you discussed at length on having a baby, since you said that you are happy that the baby is coming. So I can assume that you are not blindsided with a surprise pregnancy. I understand that you view your holidays as a way to de-stress, but please also acknowledge the physical, emotional, and physiological stress your wife is enduring for the past 29 weeks. While I agree that you should take care of yourself, being supportive husband for the woman who is bearing your child should be the top of your priorities. Also, being a supportive parent started when your child was conceived, not after it's born. Do you really want to leave your pregnant wife at home all by herself without anyone looking after her in the middle of the night while you go on a sunny holiday? Please carefully consider the consequences. If you leave now, there might not be a home to come back to. You are the jerk for even considering leaving your pregnant wife at home for a holiday. Please apologize to her and sort out your priorities. And OP replies, thanks for taking the time to write all that out, even if your conclusion is that I'm the jerk. I think that I need to readjust my thinking on this subject, as that seems to be the overwhelming opinion. I mean, at least he saw the light of day here. It's not like he's being stubborn, and because there's so many of the OPs here that will argue this and be like, oh no, you just don't understand. Like, how can you judge me here? It's like, you literally posted on a forum for judgment. So good on OP to at least accept their judgment and be like, yeah, actually, maybe I am being in the wrong. A breath of fresh air. All right, folks, we have an update. Am I the jerk for wearing a wedding dress to a wedding? This one apparently was very, very popular, and a lot of places posted it apparently, but we now have an update to it. OP dressed up as the corpse bride to an engagement party, and the bride was not happy about it, and the groom wasn't either. Well, originally he said it was fine, but we'll get into the update now. Honestly, I didn't think that this would get as much attention as it did, and I've tried reading through all the comments, but there were a lot. I do appreciate everyone's feedback. Also, I'm not sharing any photos, sorry, just for privacy reasons. I'm very sorry. Now the update. Since they blocked me on everything, I didn't try to reach out since it would be a waste of effort, but I didn't block them back. If they wanted to talk, it was fine with me. 2 days ago, I was unblocked by my friend. She asked if we could call and talk about what happened, and I agreed. She apologized for blowing up at me like she did, but also told me that she's still upset. I was only made aware because of the comments, and her now, that wearing wedding attire to anything wedding related is common sense. All I knew was that there was no white on the wedding day. Honestly, after people informed me, I felt awful and downright stupid. So I apologized back for not running it through her like I should have, since I didn't know. I've known lots of people were telling me to cut her off, but I've known her since I was 14, so I'm so glad that we can stay friends. Her husband, on the other hand, he had told her that He came up to me and asked me to change, and apparently I told him that it didn't matter because I was already there, or something along those lines. She was crying a lot while telling me. After she blew up at me and I told her the real story, she got mad at her husband. The husband suggested both of them block me so the fight would stop. She agreed to it but was still upset by it all. Eventually, she started asking people who were there at the wedding to see what happened. 3 people saw me walk up and heard me ask. This is where she learnt that her husband had lied to her. Again, a huge fight between the two. Turns out that he's hated me since I met them 5 years ago. They had already been dating for a year beforehand. I became good friends with her, but not him. He felt as though I was trying to take his girlfriend. I don't know what I did to make him feel this way. She's beautiful, but I'd never do that to anyone. I don't know why he waited 5 years to do this and decided to do it on the day of his wedding, and that was the best time to get rid of me. I'm really not sure what's going to happen to them in the future. She's staying at another friend's house until her and her husband are able to talk about it. I doubt I'll update anymore. Like update, they're getting a divorce because that feels insensitive. Again, thanks to everyone for all the advice and point of views. It helped me so much. Have a good day or night. Alright folks, what do you think, jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. I think, well, OP is not the jerk, and ultimately I don't think the bride is either because she was given misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, but the husband, he is a big jerk here.
Yeah, I don't think there's any debating that. He did this purposely and maliciously to kind of frame OP into a bad situation, and like OP didn't come from a place of malice, and if he had known, then I think that he wouldn't have dressed up as a bride in that case, right? Mm-hmm. And also, I think that maybe the husband probably didn't realize that this was going to be such a big faux pas, but he probably just played along in order, 1, not to get into trouble, and then 2, also because it worked out conveniently to make her hate him.
Well, I think he could have just been an opportunist. Like, obviously he didn't plan this in advance, but I think he may have just been like, oh, yes, OP, please continue wearing that wedding dress.
Yeah. Whatever his motivations were, it does feel opportunistic. So I don't think OP's the jerk at all, and I'm really glad that they can stay friends with their friend. Anyhow, take care, and good luck, OP. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What begins with T, finishes with T, and has a T in it?
T, of course, it begins with the letter T. What ends with T? Also, if you look very closely at the word T, it ends with T. There's a
different word, T. Brian. It's a very different word, very different meaning.
And if you look inside of a cup of tea, it has T in it. And so I think the solution is T. T begins with T, ends with T, and if it's full of tea, it's just literally the answer is
You're
tea.
So close. You're not there.
I'm so close, but I am not there. Amber's like, you're just dancing around. Is it what? Is it a cup of tea?
No.
What's the answer?
A teapot. Begins with T, finishes with T, has tea in it.
I mean, I guess it depends on the teapot. Like a lot of teapots, our teapot doesn't have any tea in it. It just has boiling water in it.
What's a tea kettle? Those are different.
Oh, Amber's going to be technical here.
Teapots, you use to serve tea when you want to be fancy.
Amber's like,
you don't use them to boil water.
That's fair. That's fair. I will concede to that point to some degree. And I have licorice spice. No one asked me why I held up the little thing here today. I just felt like it, I guess. As if to reveal some great answer or mystery in it. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for watching. Happy Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. Amber, what's the moral of the story today? And it has to involve at least some tea.
The moral of the story today, it has to involve some tea. I would say a potential moral you could have for our story is it's better to enjoy a nice glass of tea with your partner than at a sunny climb abandoning them alone.
I think that's a moral I can get behind. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Howdy, folks. I'm a can of noodles canoodling in a canoe full of... almost. Howdy, folks. I'm a can of noodles canoodling Howdy, folks. I'm a can of noodles canoodling in oodles of noodle-shaped candles.
I thought you were going to say in a canoe somewhere along the way.
I missed my canoe. Howdy, folks. I'm a can of... This is just getting more and more ridiculous. How many weird things can I cram into a sentence? I would rather spend the same amount of why would I read same as time? There's no time in same. Beautiful. Sip of tea for good luck. And then let's get started.